It's Tuesday morning in a central London hospital, and this youth worker, who we're calling Ella, is doing a ward round with a difference.
Right now I'm heading to the trauma book. It's where I check if any new referrals have come in overnight.
She's not a medic, but her work could prove just as life-saving.
This is a handwritten database with any major traumas that come in, like gunshot wounds, stabbings, and if that fits within our age range between 11 to 25, that's when I would then visit them. Hey Rosalind, you got any new referrals for me today?
Ella is on the lookout for girls and young women who may be at risk of violence or exploitation. We can't identify her for her own safety and that of the girls she works with.
Just to let you know, we're here up until 9:30 p.m. today. I'm calling about my young woman that presented yesterday with substance misuse and potential sexual assault. Yeah, definitely young people being taken into hotels is a key indicator for child sexual exploitation.
Work preventing boys getting sucked into gang violence has often ignored the threat to girls who are themselves involved or in some way affected. The Commission on Young Lives estimated last year that tens of thousands of girls across England were thought to be at risk. The charity Red Thread is now embedding youth workers inside hospitals to work with women who might not immediately appear to be in danger. Last year, Red Thread worked with nearly 2,000 young people who'd sought hospital help. Nearly 3/4 of the young men and boys the charity came into contact with were there because they'd been assaulted. But that wasn't always the case with the young women and girls. While 40% were there for the same reason, 1/4 were there because of their mental health or sexual violence. And many of the young women and girls the charity worked with were very young, often between the ages of 11 and 15. Harley is a youth worker for a different charity, XLP. She draws on her own experience of a difficult home life, which made her vulnerable to the influences of an older boyfriend.
It started with I was dating someone for a few years and I was like 13, 14 and I thought it was a normal thing to be doing. I was bunking from school just to go to be with him while he was doing illegal things. He didn't literally go, you need to be involved. It was just certain hints and things he'd say or do, or he'd get me to come with him while he was carrying drugs.
It was her dad and the charity she now works for who helped turn her life around.
I was hearing that people were getting stabbed and shot at. I was hearing that people was getting beat up because they owe someone money. And I saw what it was doing to people, which kind of scared me because I thought that could be me.
Harley believes girls' involvement with gangs is often overlooked.
I feel like girls, the particular role they have is taking the drugs far away, so basically county lines, taking them far away, bringing them back, because they judge people by the way they look. So if you've got a young girl doing it, they're not going to stop that young girl.
Yeah, I can see you today. Okay, sweet. I'll see you at 12:30.
Back at the hospital, Ella explains how she works out if a young girl is at risk. Is it quite clear to you, the red flags?
Some are clear-cut, like assaults with or without weapon, and some maybe they've come in with a headache, and then through, again, conversation, you realise that a young person has risks and vulnerabilities.
When you've seen a young woman in hospital, what happens next? What happens after that?
So we support them out in the community where they feel safe. We help them get registered to GPs. It could be accompanying them to court dates, booking young people in for sexual health appointments, making sure we do sessions around consent, healthy relationships, social media navigation. I just received a call from one of my young women and she's coming in for sexual health appointments, and just make sure that we've discussed finding a way to get some sort of funding or bursary to help pay off her debts and arrears that she has accumulated, as well as her new relationship that she has started with a new boyfriend.
The charity works hand in hand with other hospital departments.
I'll be heading off to the safeguarding team for this hospital and our trust to discuss a case with one of the safeguarding leads.
How's it going?
It's going well, still some risks around unknown males.
What does she think the risks are for her at the moment?
Her old crew, her old friends,
Yeah.
potentially targeting her again. One evening she got 27 non-caller IDs, calls to her phone relentlessly. She did fear that it might have been the perpetrators.
Yeah.
Medics such as Dr. Asif Rahman say having the Red Thread youth workers on site is indispensable. How difficult is it to spot the signs and also to win people's trust?
Sometimes for staff members, and especially if it's in a busy A&E department, it's difficult to really give that time to delve in and really get it out. So obviously having a team like Red Thread there who we can call, come down, they spend time with the patient, help them kind of settle down and hopefully get that information if there's any concerns.
Henna leads the team of young women's workers across 4 London hospitals for Red Thread. She says it's easy to underestimate the scale of young women's involvement in gangs. How many young women and girls in this country are being affected by sexual violence, by exploitation, are being sort of affected by gangs in some way?
I think the numbers are quite big, but I also think they're also underreported and under-recorded. If we focus on just the assaults and the physical injuries, then we will continue to miss these young women.
And how long do you generally work with young women?
We know that we need to allow up to a year of work with them. It's about consistency, it's about being that one person that doesn't give up on that young woman.
In my experience, historically, young women were just seen as girlfriends of potential young men that are involved in serious youth violence, and they wouldn't necessarily be stopped and searched because they're deemed as not involved, where in fact young women are involved.
When you say they're involved, are they victims or are they perpetrators? Or is it sometimes quite hard to tell the difference and we're kind of trying to put them in a box?
There is that binary thinking where it's black and white, they're either one or the other. In my line of work, you are both. Vulnerable young women are exploited in different ways, quite commonly by older women or men themselves, that they too have been exploited when they were young. So it is a continuous cycle sometimes that we try to break.
It's painstaking work, but for girls drawn into gang violence, it offers a crucial chance of a fresh start. And if you have been affected by any of the issues in that report, you can seek help by going to channel4.com/support.